What is up, nerds? As you've probably already noticed, my map, King of the Hill Probed, was just added to the game in the Invasion update. As you can imagine, I am pretty frickin' ecstatic. I've been mapping for over 6 years and it's finally culminating to this point right now. So huge thanks to everybody who's ever commented on my maps, given me feedback, or even just played them. Every single one of you has helped me get to this point today. So I know there's going to be a lot of questions regarding how this map got in and the process involved, and maybe a little bit about the inner workings of the update, so I thought I'd open it up to you guys. So post your questions in the comment section below or in my Steam group where I'll have a thread started called Invasion Q&A. A link to that will be in the description below. But real quick, I figured I could fill you in a bit on the timeline of how all this was developed. Back in June 2014, the TF2Maps.net Mercs vs. Aliens contest was announced, and I decided to participate. At the same time, the TF2Maps.net 72-hour mapping contest was held. Unfortunately, that weekend I was hosting a massive housewarming party, so I couldn't really participate in it to the full level I usually do. However, I had some free time after work on Sunday, and I ended up pumping out a quick version of Probed in about 10 hours. Hilariously, in retrospect though, it really didn't do that well in the contest. I rushed a lot of the abduction mechanics and I made some really dumb mistakes trying to make it so fast. Surprisingly though, a lot of the layout I came up with on that night is still in place today. I reworked a ton for the Mercs vs. Aliens contest, and in January of this year, it took first place, followed by the other two community maps that actually ended up in the Invasion update, Watergate, created by Egan and Backscratch, and Buyer, created by Eidolon. During the contest, there were rumors floating around about what became the Invasion update, and that the winning maps would be considered for it. After the contest ended, I put Probed on the back burner and put a lot more time into my other maps like Glassworks. Then in March, I was contacted by those running the Invasion contest and given feedback straight from Valve. This blew my frickin' mind that not only had Valve played my map, but had actually provided feedback to me on it. So I spent a ton of time implementing their feedback on the map and testing a ton of iterations on various servers. The Workshop update came out and I published it on there, with it rapidly rising to the front page of top rated maps of all time. That was really cool. Fast forward to the beginning of September, and I was told by the leader of the Invasion update that Valve had actually been considering Probe for it, and I would need to get it ready as soon as possible. So I entered crunch time trying to get everything I possibly could ready on it. So if you were curious why my videos slowed down so much, yeah, it was this. If you recall back when I did my Crash's Strange Mood series where I went insane for a week straight working on the alien teleporting in and exploding mechanic, you recall the complex entity work I had to do to get that to actually just work. But even after all that, it wasn't quite working exactly how I wanted it to. So I put in a request to Valve back in April of this year for an entity change that would fulfill my needs better than my current setup. Eric Smith of Valve replied back to me about 2 weeks later asking me for some more info on the request, which got me pretty excited. They don't really respond that often. They actually offered to create an entirely new entity for me that would do everything I needed. Fast forward about 6 months later, and after some further back and forth with Valve, I finally got that entity added in while I was in crunch time for the Invasion update. The entity is TF_generic_bomb, and I'm going to do a full video talking about it in the future. The Friday before the update was originally intended to drop, I got my requested entity, and they even provided me with access to a passworded developer build of TF2, where they were pushing out changes to my entity at my request. I worked very closely with Valve over the course of the weekend, getting the new entity working fully as I placed it into my very overly complex logic system. I even ended up pulling a few all-nighters there, trying to get ready for the September 17th launch date. I actually even managed to squeeze in doing my interview with Kritzcast regarding the update in the middle of this. On September 14th, I was actually contacted by Dave Riller, who's a bit of a mapping idol of mine, so I kind of fanboyed out a little bit, regarding finalizing Probed. I needed to get them all the custom assets, the VMF, and the final compile as soon as possible. On September 15th, my map was passed over to Valve and they had done their own compile, finalizing the map. I was all ready for the September 17th launch date. Now the hilarious part is that the second I finalized everything and sent it off to Valve, I found the most annoying minor bug on the map that is going to drive me insane forever. I'm not going to say what it is to save you guys from that pain, but it's not a very noticeable spot, but it's something that's going to stand out to me for the rest of my life. God damn it. And then the night before the update was set to drop, I got told of the delay. The official word was to give more time to work on Watergate and the website. It was sort of a hurry up and wait situation for me. Trust me, if you guys thought the delay was bad for you, you would have hated to been in my shoes. Then unfortunately a lot of information regarding the update was leaked, and I was kind of in the awkward position of not wanting to confirm anything, but also trying to contain the excitement of actually getting my map in the game. Although it honestly took a lot of fun out of it, having so many people knowing about it going in already. So whoever leaked that, you suck. Being such a public person regarding my maps, I was pretty proud I managed to avoid too much suspicion and keep my replies to those trying to prod me for information really vague. But that is about it. The map is now finally out after too many delays, and we can now go play it live in the game. As I said, if you have any questions regarding the update, I will be doing a future video answering as many of these questions as I can, so ask away in the comments below or in my Steam group forum. Again, thank you everybody for your support, and I will see you in game.